welcome to our April's Customer Insights webinar session. Glad to see people joining us again. I'd like to check if the audio is fine. So could you please send a message to the chat if you hear me? Confirm that audio works. Yep, works. Yes, I hear you. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Also, for everyone's information, the session today, like always, is recorded. So you can also come back to this later on and share it to your colleagues and if you wish. So we'll send a link to the recording for all of you to get back to after the session today. We'll also post this recording to our YouTube channel so anyone can access it. Yeah, I'm Riina. I'm the product marketing manager at Solibri. I'm your host today. Also, we have Lauri Luoma online. Lauri will have the Solibri demo and also can help with any Solibri related questions you might have. Hi, Lauri.
Hello. Yeah, I will give you the demo after Aino's presentation today, and hopefully I can give you some tips on how to use Solibri in your projects.
Great. So today's agenda, we have Aino Koivunen from Sigge Architects presenting case Sigge Architects and possibilities with Solibri in ecological housing design. We're looking into this Harppuunakortteli project and how the ecological factors have been considered in it and how Solibri has helped as the tool that contributes to the collaboration and progress in it. Then we have, like Lauri mentioned, we'll have Lauri's demo after Aino's presentation. There's tips on organizing the project models to different sections by using the classification rules. And after these, we will have some time for audience questions. You can send the questions you have at any point during the webinar to the chat. It helps us a lot if you mention if the question is more for Aino or for us at Solibri, for Lauri and me. So when we start going them through, we know who it's for. Yeah, so before we start with Aino's presentation, we also have a poll for you, which we start now. So we'd like to hear how the ecological factors are considered in your projects currently. I'll give you some time to post your answers. So there's some options where you can choose what's kind of the most how the situation is in your projects. Of course, if you want, you can also send your thoughts to the chat on this topic. So far, it seems that for the majority, they are considered in all projects. So that's really great to hear. There's roughly over half now voted. I'll give some time more before I close the poll. Okay. I guess most of you have now voted, so I'll close the poll now. Thanks for all the replies, and here are the results. So over half of you have ecological factors considered in all your projects, and then roughly a third of you have them considered in projects if customer demands. and only a few have this, that they are not that much considered. So this is really interesting to see and hear. Thanks for your replies. So yeah, now we can give the floor to Aino. So I'll give the sharing rights to you, and welcome to the stage, Aino. It's great to have you as a presenter today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Riina and Lauri, for introduction and interesting poll. And thanks to Solibri for this opportunity to present our case, Harppuun blog and eco-friendly design. My name is Aino Koivunen, and I'm here to tell you about eco-friendly housing and Solibri as a tool. And agenda for my presentation today: a short introduction about our company and myself, then our case, the Harppuun blog, which is a large residential complex in city of Turku, then the alliance, which is a type of contract select for this project, then some eco-friendly housing design, what obstacles do we face, what are the possibilities, and then shortly about BIM, building information modeling, how it relates to ecological housing design. And then last but not least, of course, how Solibri can help us to reach the goals we have set for the project. Our company, Sigge Architects, is founded in 1956, so we are turned 65 in this spring, and we have now 75 experts in 2 offices in Finland. Finland is in Northern Europe and is a part of northern countries. Sigge is founded in a city called Turku, where our home office is. We have also a smaller office in Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland. We have a comprehensive design work area. We work with educational, commercial, public, housing and renovation design. Our clients include cities, communities, states, institutions, industries and banks, as well as private businesses and citizens. We have also a team for interior design and own team for BIM services. Building information modeling is integrated into all our projects. We are one of the largest architecture companies in Finland, and we have projects everywhere in Finland and also in Europe and in the Middle East. Our aim is to create architecture which is balanced between aesthetics, functionality, technology and society. Our architectural design is always responsible and respects the end user. It empathizes the connection between space and place. So we want to create balanced, stable and beautiful environments, structures and buildings which last time. Then briefly about myself. I am a partner and development manager at Sigge. I am an architect and also trained to BIM coordinator and BIM manager. Right now I work with development projects related to digitalization and building information modeling. I'm also working as a BIM coordinator in several projects. For me, the best thing in my work is when the combined model really does its job and the end result is more than the sum of its parts. And I believe that is the real promise of BIM. And then the case, Harppuun blog, the urban village. This residential complex forms a village-like community in a cultural and historical environment. Harppuun is located near the harbour, right next to Turku Castle, which is more than 700-year-old historical monument. When completed, the block will have 12 buildings and it will be home for 1,000 people. The courtyard is like a small village with a communal block in the center. In the yard, you will find a variety of activities from gardening to relaxation. The courtyard circle is bordered by a running track, which attracts people to go outside even in winter. Under the yard deck, there is a parking for 300 vehicles with electric charging points. The stormwater in the block is treated centrally in an underground modern stormwater system. The block is the largest renewable energy destination in the Nordic countries. The complex will have a total 800 solar panels and 80 geothermal heat collection points, which will make the Harppuun block almost completely self-sufficient in energy. Ecology has been thought of from the very beginning of the project. The demolition waste of the houses has been crushed on site and used in the foundation work. Foam glass, which is a domestic recycled product, has been used as insulation under the car parking garage. In addition, the block will have centralized waste management. The client of this project is the Siemens Pension Fund, and the main contractor is NCC Finland. More information, please visit on the blog's website, harppuunakortteli.fi. That means Harppuuna blog in Finnish. Then next, a little bit about alliance model, which is a type of contract selected for this Harppuun project. Alliance is a form of contract which is common in Finland in very large scale projects. Alliance model is based on trust and cooperation. Financial management is based on target value design, and basically this means distributed gains and losses. So everybody wins or everybody loses. And this approach requires very close cooperation. The goal is the best possible functional features and high level of quality. Experts meet and work together from the beginning, and this is called a big room. And before this COVID pandemic situation, big room was an actual room in a Harppuun block. Harppuun block is built in one house at a time, so the Alliance have had the opportunity to improve the process along the way. Then about eco-friendly housing design. In modern housing design, ecology is related to everything. On top of that, Alliance has set a lot of goals to reduce the carbon footprint of the whole block. In Finland, the housing design is strictly regulated. We have laws and regulations regarding ecology, accessibility, dimensions, and materials. In addition to that, we have high quality standards for living and comfortable environment. From the beginning of this project was clear that the block tends to be as carbon neutral as possible. Eco-friendly design means a large number of MIP elements. Harppuun block utilize solar and geothermal heat energy, so the HVAC must be considered right from the beginning. Although, for example, the floor height is the same as it is in a normal house, and that gives us many challenges to fit all the technique to the building. Then we have schedule, of course, and then northern climate, which gives an extra challenge for building around the year. So outcome to all this, we have to have sustainability in all solutions. These houses must stand the test of time. Then about a little bit BIM as a strategy. The whole block is designed as a BIM project. BIM is a key method in design phase, but it is also in construction phase and in maintenance. This kind of large project, which is alliance and has high standards for self-sufficient, has many challenges. So we need methods and strategy. We need commitment and cooperation. We need willpower and skills. And of course, we need good tools. To achieve all these goals, we can use BIM as a strategy. BIM gives us methods, tools, and keys to succeed in a process. These kind of buildings are designed to last at least 100 years. Our focus is especially in the so-called BOOM model, owner and operator model, which is important for owner and users in life cycle. So with BIM, we achieve better design, better construction, and better operations. But the strategy does not help unless we have good tools. And in BIM projects, we have discovered that the Solibri is the best tool to explore BIM models and reveal all the challenges we face. One software cannot solve everything. Some are better for visualization and some are more technical. In Harppuun block, the Solibri is good software because Alliance requires good choices and good choices which are made in right time. Solibri reveals model in 3D, but there's also components to check the model with machine intelligence. Behind everything is cooperation in design team and right state of mind to work together for the best result. So, Solibri as a collaboration tool in Harppuuna block. This kind of housing block is never just about apartments. It is also commercial spaces, technical spaces, parking halls. This case also one kindergarten and also all kinds of storage spaces. So there's much to combine. So why the tool is important? Alliance requires commitment and open BIM model facilitates commitment. With software, we can show our shared model and that way show our best ideas. 3D model is mandatory so we can see things the same way. It is very important that everyone has access to the same information and combined model collects the information together. And of course, sometimes it's easier to go towards a common goal when you actually see it. Of course, ecological issues require a lot of planning and technical tool. Combining model is crucial. The plan is a puzzle how everything fits together. And then when we think about the design team, it's important that we get new ideas. The model creates innovations, and innovations is needed to ensure that the result exceeds expectations. So, why Solibri is the tool? Solibri is like combined software. It has elements which are supporting the visual navigation and research, but it contains also intelligent model check. It has rule sets, communication tab, navigation, model tree, and classification, for example. But for us, the most important thing is to find a tool which supports the cooperation. With a good cooperation, we can achieve all our goals and more. We can end in the best possible outcome. So, how we actually use Solibri in Harppuun. We use it as a tool in a big room. We use it as a tool in BIM and design meetings. With the Solibri's communication tab, we communicate the changes that need to be done. We also present the project to clients, stakeholders, and residents. With the combined model, we'll look at the big picture. We check the models with visual check and with predefined rule sets. And we ensure that the models have the correct geometry and correct information. And I think this is the core of BIM, right geometry and right information, right time. And last, it's there. When we want to check the goal, we can always use the combined model. So how is this possible? How can we be sure that the best design produces the best result on site, the best possible outcome? And the answer is simple. First, we design it, and after that, we build it. Working in a BIM project and working with the Solibri requires that all the solutions are pre-considered. This sounds obvious, but it is not so easy in projects where the common goal is not set. Here are some screenshots from Solibri from one of the Harppuun buildings where Solibri is used to ensure that the technical solutions are possible. So just a couple of examples. First, there is a cross-section from technical space. We can see the huge number of piping and ducts on the roof and also cable trays and energy pipelines. But the floor height is just a 3 meter. If we can't solve these technical spaces in model, we can't solve these on site, or at least it is much more harder and much more expensive. Another place that requires cooperation is corridors. There is a lot of piping in corridors, but we can't lower the ceiling. Ceiling height affects on doors and hallways, and that affects on usability and architecture as well. Then the whole world below ground level. Harppuun block is founded in harbor area and the ground is old seabed. So piles and heat collection pipes must fit together. With Solibri, we can see the elements which we can't not see on site. Technical things play a huge role in eco-friendly housing design. In Solibri, predefined rule sets and model checks helps us to find right ways and right heights for the MIP. In addition to this, it's important to look combined model also from the aesthetic point of view. So how does it look? How does it work? What kind of challenges we might face on construction phase? And how well in future the house stands the test of time. So the end result, Solibri is a technology that is known for predefined rule sets and intelligent model check. But Solibri is also a great tool for collaboration. Eco-friendly design needs a lot of coordination and amount of MIP is huge in this type of buildings. Alliance model is truly a form of cooperation, so Alliance requires a modern and good tools to success. Technologies can't solve all our problems, but it helps us to compare options and choose the right one. Thank you for your attention. And if anyone has any questions, you can just write those in the chat box. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Aino. Really interesting project. So like Aino said, if you have any questions, you can send those to the chat. And next we will have Lauri's demo, and after Lauri's demo, then we will start going through all the questions you've sent. Laurie, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Aino, for great presentation. I think that it's an interesting project from the ecological point of view, but also as it's using the alliance as a form of contract. And I really see that because it's promoting the collaboration, so it goes really well hand in hand with the building information modeling in that sense. But now maybe more into a technical presentation. I was thinking of demoing this since quite often the BIM models, there might be like 2 buildings or even several blocks in one BIM file, like an ISC file, and they are all delivered as one model. So I will show you one way of grouping the buildings into different sections so that they can be maybe more easier visualized and used in the checking and also when taking off quantities. Is there like I need the presenter rights?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Could you, Riina, verify?
Yeah, At least I do. So
Okay,
just
perfect.
say something in the chat if someone has issues, but should be okay.
Good. Okay, so here we actually have one of the or two buildings from the Harppuuna block, and so as we can see here, since we have these two buildings, and we quite rarely these two buildings are actually built at the same time in the project, and maybe even the design is more finished in the other one than in the other one. So we would like to focus only on one of the buildings at a time. And I have actually done here already this kind of classification where you can see that I've just given them name. We have a building A, and then we have a building B here. And this is actually the good thing about this is that we are actually, every discipline is classified. So as you can, if we look at the models here, we have plenty of MEP models, have the architect model, and so on, also electrical model. And the easiest way, of course, would be if each of the components would have, we just choose maybe one of them, okay, not a opening, but for example this slab, that if this slab would have the information that this slab belongs to this building, it would be easy to classify and make the separation. But I haven't seen, and I don't think it's a reality that all the MEP model components and everything would have this kind of information put to the BIM model. So instead of using like a property to classify them, we are using the location to do this. So if we go and check the settings of this classification, so I have done here a classification rule that is using the X coordinate, that everything which is less or equal is going to be building A, and the same, the opposite way, will be put to the building B. And where do I get this number, which the X is to separate them? So I will first show you that the model has, if I right click in the 3D view, we can see the model origin, which is here. And here we have the X axis, also the Y. In some cases, we might also need to use the Y axis all to put into the classification rules. But now, since these are easily kind of look at it from above, we can see that if this is the X, we can draw the line here. And the way I can find the right coordinate is that I zoom in here, and what we do is we use this Markup Tool. The Markup Tool has a option coordinate stamp, and here if I click this, I can actually show what is the exact coordinate in this specific point here. So this is where I want to do the separation of this being a building A and the other part being the building 2. And now you can see that the X is 92.53. So from there I have picked the coordinate, and I've done it in the classification. We could do this classification also like manually, but as I'm sure many of you who are more advanced, maybe Solibri users, know that if we do classification manually, it doesn't have effect once we update the IFC models. So if we can get it to the rule, it doesn't matter if I even open a new IFC file to this SMC or the Solibri project, it will still automatically be put to the correct building according to the global coordinate. So where does the global coordinate then come if we'll choose, let's take for example the air terminal here. So we have its location here, and this is the global X coordinate of this air terminal. And then the classification checks that, okay, this is less than the 90 whatever, and according to that, it will put it to the right building. One trick that we can also use, since we have the option in the newer versions of Solibri, we introduced this, that we can use this classification as the model colors. So let's say that we are, for example, all right, we want to focus on only the building B. For example, at the site. So what we can do to actually hide the building A is that we color it. I think this bit's so slow now with the GoToWebinar, but bear with me. So we set the building A as fully transparent. And maybe this we can actually just use the component color. And now use for model colors. Now when I press OK, and we wait for a while, now we can focus only on the building B. Even if I choose here to show all, it doesn't show the building A at all because I have chosen it to be transparent. So this should allow, like, or it's a one trick to, if you want to focus on only certain part of the model at a time. Of course, we could also use the other, like Z coordinates. We could use the floor if we want to only even go to a smaller part and only focus on some specific floor in the building B. maybe something to keep in mind that this works in some projects, and it's definitely like a project specific way of doing it, since all the projects are in different coordinates. It gets more difficult to find the right coordinates and how to divide the models if the XY coordinates is not aligned straight with the buildings. But it is still possible, but it requires more work on the finding the right coordinates to use in the classification rules. Okay, I will just bring back the building A. So we wanna after doing this, it's kind of classifying the buildings. It is then easier if we are doing some checking. For example, we have the option then to actually we can bring the classification view also here, and now we could use this is we have some checking results here. I'm not gonna go through, sorry about that, for the checking at the moment, but what we can do is we set from here, for example, the building A to the selection basket, and then we can filter the results only based on the what I have in selection basket. Also, let's say I haven't actually done any practice before the demo, but if we want to get, let's say we want to get all the windows only from building B in the information takeoff, and say here, let's give it a name like Windows building B, and now we choose window, and now as a property we will use the classification. Sorry, not the buildings. One of, and we choose the building B. Okay, I'm not sure what is now window. Now did I do something wrong here? Let's look for okay. That's the that's the reason here. So actually I found this is a minor modeling mistake, but yeah, let's not go into that. But looks like the windows have been modeled as objects in this. But let's not worry about that. We will use something else. So let's go for example, doors, and let's hope that they are modeled as doors. So buildings, one of, and building B, and let's do this flow. Okay, so there we go. that was basically my demo for this webinar. I'm happy to take any questions, or do you, Riina, want to take over?
Yeah, thanks, Lauri. Thanks a lot. There was actually one question. I think it was related to when you were showing the coloring of the models and adding the transparency. Does that trick increase performance at all,
That
or?
I would say it maybe depends a bit on what performance, because if you're running then rules, I think it will still check everything. But if you have a heavy model, I advise you to try if it improves the performance. I'm not. Yeah, the answer is I'm not sure, but it's a good point.
Yeah.
Should test. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start going through all the questions that came in. I think there were a few questions for you, Aino.
Yes.
Yeah, please
If
go
I
ahead.
read the question and then the
Yeah.
answer. So thank you for your questions. So first one, did you have apartment specific ventilation? Where was the replacement air taken? Yes. Yes, we did. And from facade, the yard side of the building was the replacement air taken. And then another one, what materials have been used for the carrying system of the blocks and what materials for facades? In the block houses have a concrete core and thermal plastering. And in the block house where's a kindergarten, there is a wooden facade. And then could you describe the workflow for combining models? Who combines models and how have you arranged comment rounds? Yes, we have separate big meetings, and that's like a part of the big room work. And in that meeting, we really look at the problems and solve those together. And we like using Solibri also that we put notes to the combined model in communication tab, and then use the BCF tool for get those comments and problems in the design software. And then you mentioned the BOOM model, BIM building owner operator model that you work towards for the asset owner. How does the owner intend to use BOOM model? To add correct information to the models, we prepared for future. And for that, owner can truly use BOOM models in maintenance. And clients are interested about it unless the process and softwares are still developing. And one very important information in the architectural model is space element. So with space element, you actually have a BOOM model for maintenance. Thank you.
Thanks, Aino. There was another question for you, Lauri, I think.
Yeah, I can take that. So using ITO, so the information takeoff, how can you identify the area of doors? So yeah, there's it's basically the function exactly that the ITO has. So you can we have the quantities there. You can add new columns in the information takeoff, and we can even, well, in some cases you can sum up the quantities. With doors, you probably want to have a list of different size doors, and it is the information, the quantity information is in the IFC models. So yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
There was another new question for, I think it's mainly for you, Aino. Don't know, is it something that's easy to answer or not, about the relation between ecology and BIM. So is there anything you could maybe open up on your thoughts on that?
I think ecological design, where there's much MIP and HVAC elements, so BIM helps us, and combined model helps us to get the best possible result.
Thanks. Hopefully that clarified this idea. Yeah. I think it looks like there's not any more questions. Also, if there's something that we missed, we can look into all of the questions after the webinar and also come back to you afterwards. So don't worry about that.
There's a question regarding the ArchiCAD link. I don't know if you have, Aino, you have been using ArchiCAD in this. Is that your main architect tool?
Yes.
So this, maybe the question is a bit for us both, but have you used the link between ArchiCAD and Solibri?
Yes, we have used, and then also the BCF manager.
Okay. Yeah, there's the new ArchiCAD link to answer to this question. If there are any tips on, or someone is having some issues with it, but we would need to look in more closer to that. The new ArchiCAD link is made by Graphisoft, and it's an add-on to ArchiCAD. So we would need to know which versions of Solibri and ArchiCAD you are using, and what kind of issues you are having with it. I would suggest to contact the Graphisoft about this.
Yeah, thanks Lauri, and thanks Aino. At least I don't see any more questions. So I guess we managed to answer everything, hopefully, at least. Thanks everyone for your great questions. Before we stop, I'd like to give you a heads up on our next webinar, which is in May 19th. We'll have case from Rich and Partners. We have Alex Plenty and Brent Rees presenting first. Then you will get a registration link to your emails after this webinar if you want to join that session. So thank you everyone, and it was great to have you on this presentation with us, and hopefully we'll see also next time in May. Have a great day and great week. Thanks and bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.